what's up? This is Cory Wong. Today's lesson, I am talking about the mindset of rhythm guitar. I'm here to make a case for the rhythm guitar. Why should you care? Why does it matter? And how can you make it fun? I think a lot of people, when they play or think about rhythm guitar, they think of it as, oh, somebody else gets to do all the fun stuff and I gotta do this. I think people think that way because they're not exploring all that rhythm guitar has available to them. To me, one of the things that's really fun about rhythm guitar is basically thinking about a couple things. My mindset when it comes to rhythm guitar is momentum of the song and figuring out whether I need to add harmonic or melodic value to the song. And when I'm coming up with guitar parts that are in the rhythm realm, really it's just those two things that I'm thinking about. What is the momentum and how can I contribute to that momentum? And what needs assistance in the tune at any given moment? Is it the harmony or is it something melodic? And there's a lot of times when I play where a keyboard player or another guitar player is covering the chords. We already know that it's a G to a C to an E minor or whatever. And it doesn't really need me to outline that as much. So I might think in terms of melody. Or sometimes I'm thinking in terms of outlining the harmony because nobody else is doing that job. So if you think about your role as somebody who's contributing to the momentum of a song and trying to add value in the department of either melodic or harmonic content, it can open up a lot of doors for you. So a lot of times people will read on a chord chart, here's a G. There's so many ways you could just interpret that. Cool, whatever, it's our standard bar chord or just an open chord. Okay? What if there's a little more information? It's a G7. Okay, are we doing this old cowboy chord G7? Are we doing our bar chord? Or going through any of our caged voicing? Or is there something a little more unique and fun? Because right there, it just sounds like I'm playing a G7. It doesn't really sound like I'm playing anything that's a song. I'm just playing a chord. So yeah, of course, that's going to be boring. It's going to feel like I'm just playing a chord. Okay, I think one thing that we can do is try to make things feel iconic to the song that we're playing. The way that I think about my parts is if a cover band is playing this tune, I want them to have to play this. So check this out. Instead of just playing G7, maybe it's... Now all of a sudden you can sing that part. It does contribute to the rhythmic momentum of the song. Da 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 da. It's actually got something that feels repeatable, it feels singable, and it outlines the harmony, and it has a little bit of melody involved in it. So that's just one really simple example of how you can think a little more creatively in rhythm parts. Now, you could take another aspect of it. Let's say I don't need as much harmony, but it needs the rhythmic momentum, and I need something that feels a little bit melodic. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to change my mindset from being just chords guy to I'm going to be a bongo player that happens to also have pitches. Because guess what? There's a lot of percussion players who play a bongo part, and it's really fun, and it contributes a lot to a song. It adds a lot of energy. But we as guitar players also have the opportunity to add notes to that sort of thing. So we can go. Build on it. So all of a sudden, it feels like I have a couple things happening there. I have the bongo part. And I also have this. Or whatever the part was in there. Something along those lines. So now I'm really thinking in a different role. I'm not just thinking, I'm guitar guy. I'm thinking I'm percussion player. And that's really fun. So the other thing that you can do with that is, now that I've got you in the mindset of thinking like another instrumentalist, imagine yourself playing the role of a couple different people. Sometimes in a band, you'll have a horn section or a keyboard player that at the top of the phrase, they'll do a big BAM! And then there'll be a percussion player going doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, BAM! Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. There's maybe a horn section doing something after that. I can play one guitar part that can function kind of as all three of those things. I will try to do something similar to that I was just making up in my head. Also on G7, just to keep it easy. I'm going to go, and then I'll do something in the percussion realm, and then I'll do something that kind of feels like a horn line on top of it in my head. I'll try to make a 4-bar phrase that makes sense. So there I'm kind of covering different things. This line at the bottom and the line at the top almost feel like a call and response. And it's also got this sort of shaker bongo thing happening and this thing that feels like a horn or keyboard hit at the beginning. I'll give another example, kind of a different tempo and some different vibe. So I'm thinking more of like a slower groove. Boom, boo doo doo doo. So that's one little way that I like to think about coming up with rhythm guitar parts. I like to think of parts. I don't like to think of just playing a chord or playing a chord progression. I like to think about composition within the song. So if I can contribute something that feels like it belongs to that song, it really adds more value than just playing a chord. To me, that is the way to go. Coming up with an actual part that feels like it belongs to that song. It allows you to be a little more creative and expressive in it, and it also gives the song a little bit more of a unique fingerprint.